Ms. Gülseren Çelik, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Head of Department for Multilateral Economic Affairs, and alternate chair of the SDG Impact Accelerator Board. Mr. Boğaç Şimşir, Eczacıbaşı Innovation Director. Ms. Duygu Ercan Moral, Globsite Country Representative. Ms. Şafak Müderrisgil, Chair of Etkiyap Impact Investing Platform. And finally, we will be discussing together with Ms. Sharanya Thakur. She is the Gravity Earth Project Manager. Being one of the speakers of this session, I would like to also share some details of our SDG Impact Accelerator journey that was lit from an idea and has become an impactful collaborative initiative in Turkey and around the globe. As you may know, that UNDP works to find practical and innovative solutions to Turkey's development challenges since 1958, and we believe that we can achieve these goals, these global goals, only if we can work together. And to accelerate our steps towards these goals, we need new ideas, new solutions, and new partnerships. In that respect, SDG Impact Accelerator initiative that brings us together in a multi-platform, multi-environment platform is so much valuable for us. And was as one of the founding partners of this important initiative as UNDP, we are very proud to support the innovative solutions to improve the lives of the refugees in Turkey and around the globe. This is what we aim to achieve with the new vision of UNDP, which we call the Next Generation UNDP. And when we advocate for performing better, faster, and creating impact at larger scale. And this can also only be possible through innovative solutions to the biggest problems of our time. And we try to change the lives of millions of people to live in a better place. So SDG Impact Accelerator is an excellent example among UNDP's many responses to complex challenges. And it is a unique global accelerator built by a multi-stakeholder platform which discovers solutions and enables their entry to the market for the selected problems. One other feature that makes SDG Impact Accelerator a novel initiative is that it is a convening platform, as I mentioned, for private and public partnerships with specific focus on empowering system entrepreneurs and also the innovators who are providing impact at scale. And following the feasibility study funded by Bill Melinda Gates Foundation and UNDP, the SDG Impact Accelerator program started in Turkey in 2018, and we collaborated with Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other partners, WFP, Bill Melinda Gates Foundation, DİMAK and Eczacıbaşı Foundation, and also the Qatar Fund for Development. And since then, we had 2 phases of programming, and we are about to complete the pilot phase. I'm sure that our MFA representative will detail more, so I don't want to just brief you in details about this, but currently our program, which piloted in Turkey, right now being implemented in 2 LDCs, in line with the international development agenda of the country. And in Bangladesh and Uganda, we right now establish broad partnerships to address the challenges of these 2 countries, especially in terms of financial inclusion and digital agriculture. And we are very proud that there has been a really enormous interest from the startups and innovative ecosystem to our program, and we are very happy to work with them. And this is also, we think that this is a great opportunity for the startups who would like to be a part of the global network and also contributing towards the achievement of SDGs. And in this panel, we will explore the questions behind how SDG Impact Accelerator provides global and local network opportunities through its strong and unique partnership modality. And we will discuss these opportunities during and beyond this partnership, and in terms of mentorship, access for entrepreneurs in order to grow their businesses, or a combination of collective actions to leverage innovative products and solutions. So I would like to start with your permission with our first panelist, Ms. Gülseren Çelik. I would like to ask you, Gülseren Hanım, what was the role of Ministry of Foreign Affairs in establishment of SDG Impact Accelerator, and has SDG Impact Accelerator resulted in innovative new ideas, technologies, or ways of product that are also sustainable? The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Seher, and thanks for the introductory remarks. Allow me to thank Imece for inviting and giving us first-hand opportunity to speak about SDGIA, which we are very excited and proud of. Let me also welcome my fellow panelists and greet everyone who are joining us in this session. As you know, the Sustainable Development Goals adopted by the member states of UN in 2015 sets out an ambitious agenda until 2030 that tries to address the grandest challenges facing humanity today. To realize these ambitious goals, it became crucial to find new ways of working in multi-stakeholder partnerships that have the capacity not only to mobilize knowledge, financial resources, and technology, but also to share it. Turkey actively supports SDG implementations. We have aligned our 11th National Development Plan accordingly. SDG-IA has been designed to make Turkey a hotbed for innovative solutions to address these grand development challenges faced in the world. To do this, we wanted to tap into the power of impact entrepreneurs and encourage them to work hand in hand with private sector and governments. SDG constitutes one of Turkey's most innovative contributions to the SDG implementation. It is a global accelerator, as you mentioned, established under my ministry's Ministry of Foreign Affairs in collaboration with UNDP Turkey, a long-time partner in its own development efforts. And it is the first international impact acceleration program of Turkey, taking advantage of entrepreneurs' creative power using technology. The Impact Accelerator aims to reach SDGs much faster, more effectively, and in an innovative way. With 4 million Syrians and others under its protection, Turkey is host to the largest refugee population in the world. Two of the most pressing issues faced by displaced populations are lack of sanitation and personal identification. We wanted the conclusions of the feasibility study for the establishment of the SDG-IA, funded by UNDP Regional Office in Istanbul and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, was launched in April 2019 and was tested in a piloting phase in Turkey. In this phase, SDG-IA focused on improving the refugees' access to basic services and livelihood opportunities through digital ID solutions and water and sanitation solutions through reinvented toilets that can function without a sewage system in Turkey. We implemented this phase with our partners, World Food Programme in Turkey, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Qatar Fund for Development, Eczacıbaşı Holding, and Limak Investment from the Turkish private sector. We knew that Bill Gates was personally involved in the reinventing toilets, as was Mr. Faruk Eczacıbaşı, president of the Eczacıbaşı Holding, a leading company in Turkey in sanitation products. We invited them both to take part in this phase and became the challenge owners. Similarly, upon our invitation, World Food Programme in Turkey, which is providing food and financial assistance to Syrians under protection in Turkey, became challenge owner for digital ID. Qatar Fund for Development joined us on stage. They are funding the pilot projects of startups which graduated from the accelerator program. Our first global call attracted entrepreneurs, startups from 35 countries. It is much modest than in our second global call that we are currently implementing in Uganda and Bangladesh. 8 startups have graduated from the program to implement their project, which is currently at its final stage. We invited the 2 teams to present their solutions at UN General Assembly in September 2019. And 2 other teams joined our side events in the World Refugee Forum in Geneva, again in 2019, this time in December. When we questioned what attracted the startups to the SDG-IA in the first place, The response was its unique multi-partner structure, the access provided to the refugees who were going to benefit from the solutions they were going to find, as well as the opportunity to meet the experts of Turkish government, private sector, and UN agencies active in the ground. So we have Sharanya Takar. I'm sure she's going to let us know in her own words what was the pull factor for Gravity Earth. So SDGI has introduced a novel approach to startups, startup accelerations, thanks to, we believe, its convening power, the pull power for private and public sectors, with a specific focus on empowering innovative entrepreneurs who are providing impact at a scale for low-income groups, those in the bottom of the pyramid, with the overarching aim of leaving no one behind. The project SDGI also reflects the Turkish government's humanitarian and enterprising foreign policy, which also demonstrates our dedication to advocating equal opportunities for everyone, including the refugees. As you mentioned, the second program is being implemented in Bangladesh and Uganda, who, like Turkey, are host to very large refugee population. It is funded and led by Ministry of Foreign Affairs, together with UNDP Turkey, and this time we have a UN Technology Bank for LDCs on board, which we host in Turkey as well, with the support of the governments of Uganda and Bangladesh. The challenges are financial inclusion in Bangladesh and digital agriculture in Uganda, which are very much aligned with SDGs. As we are in the remaining, not much time left for the completion to get to 2030, but Turkey will continue to take enterprising, inclusive, and decisive steps for the achievement of the 2030 agenda. We want to not only build back better, but build forward together in partnership, where impact will be sustainable and inclusive.
Thank you very much, Gülsen Hanım, for your useful and valuable remarks. You had a framework, provided the framework of SDG Impact Accelerator and what we achieved so far. I would like to continue with one of the private sector partners of SDG Impact Accelerator, Eczacıbaşı, and I would like to ask Mr. Boğaç Şimşir, the Innovation Director of Eczacıbaşı, to share with us your experiences in the SDG Impact Accelerator program, especially in relation to the multi-stakeholder partnership structure, and what do you think that made it special for Eczacıbaşı to invest in SDG Impact Accelerator, and is there any further commitment to come? Boğaç Bey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Seher. And Gülsen Hanım, you explained the project very good, so I should better talk about the rest which we designed. For me, the key factor to have a sustainable world and organization is cooperation and partnership, that's for sure. And solving big and complex problems alone, it is impossible without working together. That's what we see and what we will experience in the future. And to be successful, we need to involvement of academia, suppliers, other firms, startups, partners, authorities. A multidisciplinary approach is crucial. With the SDGIA, that's what we have to solve the big problems of today and, of course, for tomorrow. With SDG Impact Accelerator programs, we have chance to come together, act collectively with shared sustainable mindset. As I told, startups, entrepreneurs, big firms, NGOs, and of course agencies can create value beyond expectations. Where we have experienced lately in SDGIA in Turkey for clean water and sanitation, we as Eczacıbaşı group involved in this process, putting all the necessary resources which is needed from our side, and at the end we have startups ready to action, which we will listen today. While we transfer the know-how of toilet business to them, also they taught us the new creative ideas. That's what I like, that's what I see, because we always stuck in the current world which we see, but the startup and entrepreneurs can see the world differently, and I am really happy to to see the world with their eyes. That's again, it's good for the big corporations. And we are one of the leaders in bathroom and toilet product business in the world. And it's our responsibility to bring proper sanitation to communities and hygiene who have limited access to them. With SDGIA, we have a chance to try new ideas and possibilities over the startups. I believe with all this effort, we will overcome this huge problem together. And your question, sure, we will continue to invest and commit on the SDGIAs for the coming calls. We are working on aging population related issues lately and await the coming programs and calls for SDGs about it also. We love to be in it, and for sure we invest on it and we have gains from the SDGIAs. Thank you for all participants of SDGIAs and all the agencies. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Boğaç Bey. It is very good to hear that you will continue your commitment, and we really hope to continue working with you, in different areas like agents, populations, and other issues. And we would like to just extend and scale up the work that we achieved already in the field of sanitation. So thank you very much. And I would like to continue at this point, with Duygu Ercan Mörer. She is the Globeside country representative, and she is also representing Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which really, invested into this project since the beginning. And we are really thankful for their kind contributions. And I would like to hear more from you, Duygu Hanım. How does the SDG Impact Accelerator contribute to international cooperation from your side? And in this respect, could you please speak about the Gates Foundation's partnership in the project?
Thank you very much, Seher Hanım. I would like to also extend a thank you to our distinguished speakers. I'll start by echoing some of the points that have been already raised, actually. So we stand at a critical juncture today, as we all know, facing pressing development challenges compounded by the most serious global pandemic in a generation. At the same time, we also stand at the 5-year mark on SDGs, but our progress to meet these key development targets still lags behind. So at this key moment, multilateral cooperation is more important than ever. And it means actually crossing traditional boundaries to facilitate collaboration, co-creation across sectors and countries. This is really key for an enabling and supportive ecosystem for innovation to thrive, and also to explore, fund, and scale new solutions that we need today. So SDG Impact Accelerator stands out as a global best practice in this respect. It is as just mentioned already, it is a unique policy initiative in the field of development cooperation carried out under the leadership of the Turkish government. So I'd just like to highlight some of the key features that make it so. Some of them have already been mentioned briefly. But first and foremost, it harnesses the transformative ability of innovation, entrepreneurship, and technology to accelerate impact, supporting the development of effective, equitable, and sustainable solutions to the urgent problems that we face today. And what facilitates this is actually the multi-stakeholder, multi-sectoral engagement platform that convenes partners with unique strengths, as we all know. It addresses complex challenges that are identified through an inclusive stakeholder consultation process rooted in the actual needs on the ground. So really, systems thinking approach is at the backbone of it, and it creates a multiplier effect, which means when solved, lives of many people change. Last but not least, it has also proven to be a co-learning platform, actually, providing a joint working atmosphere for partners, for the entrepreneurs, other stakeholders, which allows them to learn from each other and share experiences. So at this point, before linking my comments to the partners' engagement, I'd like to highlight a principle here that has been adhered throughout the project. It's continuity and sustainability. The learnings and partners' experience have always been incorporated into the co-creation process. That's quite important. Just to give an example, as already mentioned, our work started with a feasibility study in 2018. And that study actually identified the main building blocks of the program. The findings then were tested in a full-fledged program piloting phase in 2019. And we have all witnessed the successful completion of this first phase, solutions actually being implemented at the moment on the ground in Turkey, and how these building blocks have actually paved the way for an even more ambitious program in the LDCs this time, with two legs, Bangladesh and Uganda. And the second phase, as we know, is proceeding with full speed at the moment. So with that being said, Gates Foundation is among the founding partners of this project, starting from the feasibility phase that has been just described. The succeeding pilot program after that in 2019 focused on addressing needs of displaced people in Turkey, particularly around sanitation and digital identification. I'd like to highlight here the collaboration between the foundation and Eczacıbaşı Holding, one of Turkey's leading conglomerates. They call it the Sanitation Challenge, that aims to develop non-sewerage sanitation systems. It's been a unique example showing us the real potential of value-creating synergistic partnerships in adapting global technologies to the local context. So it was really unique in that sense. The high-level international events at the UN General Assembly and Global Refugee Forum, as Gülseren Hanım mentioned, have also been important moments where partners, including the Gates Foundation, came together with solution providers to showcase the success. And it's really contributed significantly to the global awareness around the project. So through my role as a GlobeSight Turkey representative, I also support the foundation as their advisor here. So I'd like to highlight that the foundation focuses on improving the quality of life of all people and works across program areas which range from poverty to health and agriculture. At the core of it is building partnerships at global scale that bring together resources, expertise, and vision to identify issues, find solutions, but most importantly, drive change. So in this respect, I think we can say that SDGIA has been an exemplary model. It's shown how the foundation's exploration of innovative interventions can complement Turkey's humanitarian and development assistance. As the SDGIA journey continues with the second phase, there is a lot of potential to build on existing partnerships to advance joint impact in areas of shared priorities. The focus areas of financial inclusion and digital agriculture are well aligned with these priorities. I would like to just end my speech by saying that SDGIA provides the agile, flexible, and adaptive setting for all partners, including the foundation, to be able to collaborate in innovative ways and explore continuously going forward. So I would like to thank you, Mr. Seher.
Thank you very much, Duygu. You really just summarized the importance of our initiative, especially, in times of COVID, and how we can just reflect these best practices to the better of the world. So thank you very much to you and the foundation for all your contributions. So at this point, I would like to discuss. We focus mainly on the accelerator part of the SDG Impact Accelerator program, but there are also other three pillars. One is impact investment, and the other pillar of the program is systems thinking, as also Duygu mentioned. And in terms of the impact investment, our country in Turkey, there has been good development, recent development, in order to strengthen the ecosystem. So at this point, I would like to just ask Ms. Şafak Müderriskil, chair of ETKİYAP, and it is an important impact investment platform in Turkey, and he's also operating around the world. So Şafak Hanım, could you please talk about the growing role of impact investing in building impact partnerships and supporting impact entrepreneurs? And what are the new developments regarding this field and regarding the strengthening of impact investment system in Turkey?
Many thanks, Seher Hanım, for this warm welcome and the opportunity today. Coming back to your questions, in a world exposed to the COVID-19 pandemic, in addition to the existing global challenges in achieving the SDGs, building impact partnerships is necessary more than ever. Despite all these difficulties, there's also a growing interest among investors to mobilize capital into activities that deliver strong financial returns while reducing poverty and inequality, advancing health and education, and protecting the environment at the same time. The SDG Impact Accelerator is playing a pivotal role here in bringing together governments, entrepreneurs, and private sector that are to create impact at scale. Speaking of the SDG-related investments, it is vital to inform the asset owners on how to create measurable and positive social and environmental impact through their investments. A major challenge constraining SDG-related investments is the difficulty of identifying bankable projects for investors. In that respect, the alumni pool of scalable impact startups within the SDG Impact Accelerator is an asset for the nascent impact investing ecosystem in Turkey. Recently, the SDG Investment Map of Turkey, launched by UNDP, provides detailed information on how specific invest and business models can advance the SDGs by specifying national priorities and development needs. This map actually is a perfect to accelerate SDG-oriented private investments in Turkey. There is obviously a need for change in the investment mindset, not to invest only for a financial return, but also for the good. There is a productive discussion and ongoing action among local and international capital holders regarding SDG-related private investments and impact investing at the same time. When we take a look at the potential of private impact investing globally, as of 2020, we have seen that the assets under management for impact investment have reached $715 billion. There are still wide discrepancies in the geographical allocation of impact assets. For instance, in 2020, the Middle East and North Africa region and the Eastern Europe, Russia and Central Asia region accounted for only 2% and 6% respectively. Despite the low regional share, the Middle East and North Africa region experienced the highest growth in impact investments with a 43% compound annual growth rate over the last couple of years. While Turkey has a relatively developed financial market, there are still many opportunities to generate social and environmental impact to alleviate the development challenges observed in the region. Alongside growing entrepreneurship ecosystem, Turkey also hosts an emerging social entrepreneurship network, which deserves closer examination to lay the baseline for incorporating financial profit with a positive development impact. According to the Impact Investing Ecosystem Report prepared by UNDP, there are 5 key areas where highest impact may be generated in Turkey, which are refugee livelihoods, women's empowerment, renewable energy, health tech, and financial inclusion. Aligning these key areas with entrepreneurship activities in Turkey is critical to raising capital for businesses with and for impact and scale-up models. When we look into the supply side of impact investing in Turkey, we observe that a strong supply of financial capital with a variety of players from development finance institutions to banks and private equity. Turkey has a younger population compared to advanced economies and has potential to support a relatively young social entrepreneur network in the economy. Investments in sectors with high impact potential such as health and well-being, education, clean tech, agri-tech, energy and social good account for an increasing share in the number of investment deals per year. And when we look on the demand side of impact investing, Turkey is positioned as the largest startup hub in Southeastern Europe. More than 550 startups are established per year. Startup investment is projected to reach a high of $2 million per year. That's the expectation. The entrepreneurship ecosystem is one of Turkey's strengths in variation of entrepreneurship indicators from the EU average in comparison to the EU. The Turkish impact-creating enterprises focus particularly on good health and well-being, quality education, affordable and clean energy, and responsible consumption and production. Among social enterprises, 47% are young people, 55% are women, and 83% are highly educated. Lastly, in order to leverage the opportunities and manage the transition to the impact economy in Turkey, there are now efforts in place to establish a national advisory board for impact investing, which will also monitor impact entrepreneurs, including the ones who are graduating from the SDGIA programs with innovative and impactful solutions to SDG-related challenges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Şafak Hanım. And thank you for sharing the good news for the establishment of the NAB, National Advisory Board. We believe that it's a very important, critical step forward to strengthen the ecosystem in Turkey, and your facilitation is really, meaningful in this regard. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to just continue with our last panelist. So we all hear the perspectives of our partners, the institutional perspectives are provided. And finally, we would like to hear from one of our founders, startups who has been involved into the pilot phase of the project. So Ms. Sharanya Thakur, she is from Gravity Earth, and she's the project manager of the project in Turkey. And Sharanya, I would like to ask you, as one of the graduates of SDG Impact Accelerator, how was the whole experience, including the accelerator and implementation stages? And do you think that this experience should be replicated in different areas? Your views are really important. You are coming from the ground, and we would like to hear more from you, your perspective. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for the opportunity. First of all, I say this every time, but yeah, we're extremely grateful for even having to had the opportunity to test our product. And then second, to speak about this with everyone on this panel. So thank you everyone for your insights. In terms of the experience, I think that it was really a lot of ups and downs, definitely, but the one great thing was that every experience was filled with a lot of learning and at every stage, which was incredible also for us as a team, which was very young at that time, to learn from actually implementing on the ground. And we really came out knowing a lot more about our product, about our beneficiaries, end users, and just about the local context as well in Gaziantep. In terms of, I think the biggest benefit, or what stood out to us the most, were two things. The first was that there is a stage at which every startup has to obviously find the product market fit. And it's extremely difficult to find that when your market is inaccessible, in the sense that, your users might be displaced people. So it's hard to get input from them and feedback from them, which can help you then streamline your business model and your product. And then secondly, also from government institutions or international organizations and donors. And so these kind of users are our main market, which is very difficult to actually just access as a small company. And that is where we think that SDGIA was the most useful in helping us start this journey of the product market fit, by putting us in direct contact with organizations like UNDP, of course, and WFP, and then, of course, the local partners that we worked with, the Gaziantep Chamber of Industry and the Gaziantep Chamber of Art, of Craftsmen and Artisans. So that was a very enriching experience, and I definitely think that it's a model that should be replicated elsewhere. And I'm really excited to see the results from the Uganda and Bangladesh phases, because I think those are also very specific markets. And I think that going out of this now as a startup, we are at the stage where we have a good relationship with the local partners in Gaziantep. And of course, UNDP is still providing us with so much support still in terms of facilitating contacts and still helping us to now really narrow down the product market fit. So I think from that perspective, it's a great opportunity for any startup that is working in the field of impact and has this inaccessible market.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your experience. And really, you are doing a great job in this context, where we are struggling with the pandemic. You are pushing the boundaries at the local level, and we are here to support you by all means. But you are a great team, and please continue. This is a very important subject for us, for the achievement of SDGs, especially in the field of sanitation. So we are about to close the session, but I would like to just make an overall just assessment. I'm thankful to all the panelists for your kind and invaluable contribution. And we all know that the SDGs acknowledge the complexity of our world and highlights the need for more comprehensive development solutions. And the wide variety coverage of different topics require diverse actors to join hands and pool financial resources, knowledge, know-how, and expertise. So if the challenges faced are interlinked and interdependent, then the way we examine them and the solutions we develop must be integrated and interdependent as well. At this point, we are aware that this is not an easy task, and we therefore, the SDG Impact Accelerator is also pushing the boundaries and testing the solutions that lead to impact with your partnerships. And considering that really, there is a huge funding gap. It is around and maybe more than 30 trillion US dollars to achieve the SDGs across the world. And these new alliances, these partnerships, these platforms are needed more than before. And it's a perfect platform that brings together the government, business, and the think tanks, and the social impact investors and citizens all together. So thank you very much for joining us in this platform. And I'm also thankful to the audience. So thank you and have a nice day.